So this morning, I want to reply to a comment that I got, or at least talk about it. A comment that I got in one of the last video I posted. I know I don't do videos quite this often, and I really don't want to, but I just figured that this was something that we should talk about. Because what the person said, and I'm gonna put it on the screen here next to me, is the reality, not much to understand. When I was talking about why I don't like being a landlord is the evictions. That part of the landlord I don't like is the evictions. This person, which I don't want to state their name, I'm just going to put a comment in. You don't pay rent, you're a filthy person. Or you break your lease, you evicted. And I want to talk about that. Like to me, that seems like a problem. Because like I've said in the previous video, and I say on my TikToks all the time, that being a landlord, being a landlord, it is a business. Yes, it is a business, and you've got to think about your bills and everything that comes along with it. But as well, it's not a typical business. It's not a business that like a Walmart or a bakery or a clothing store or whatever. This is a business that is rooted in people. Because as a landlord, I can't survive without my residents, and vice versa. Some residents, they can't survive without a landlord trying to work with them. So to say that somebody is a filthy person for not paying their rent is showing that there is a lack of understanding of people. Because as we know, which has always been a case, but in the last few years, because it's 2022, so if this gets viewed in the future, people will understand. But this is 2022. Right now, people are having a hard time finding decent places to live, affordable places, to live. They're having to deal with price hikes. I mean, I like in the one video I talked about, last video, I talked about this one street here in Athens, China Street or Vine Street, that and I think it's China Street, that the company came in and just is basically raising everybody's rent by double. And when people are having a hard time paying, that double right there is hurting them. And then where are they going to go? If there's no affordable housing, where are they going to go? So is it a matter of someone being a filthy person if they can't pay rent? No. It's a matter of people having hard times to deal with. Because like I said in the previous video, I've had a couple people, and one I'm dealing with now, that they just came upon hard times. And yes, business-wise, businessly, or whatever the hell you want to call it, it is screwing me and the trailer park, or screwing us in the trailer park. My wife is, I've done this thing for so long by myself, and it's always been me. My wife's involved, and it's still hard for me to say that it's ours, because it is ours, because she's a huge help in this, which you'll get to know her soon, hopefully. But overall, it's a business of people. And put that down. And when you're dealing with people, there is so many other things that play into that versus just your bottom line. Ooh, the lighting. Man, the lighting's not the greatest here, but yeah, I should have a reflector. But there's a lot more to think than your bottom line. And yes, if you want to be a greedy person, like that one guy I mentioned last video is, I got 30 and I got 50. No, if you want to be greedy, that's great. That is great. But get into a business that requires greed to succeed. And yes, we can say that being greedy in this kind of business, yes, being greedy is the way to succeed. But to me, when you're starting to take out the element of the human being, you've lost what it means to be human. Because by that terms, it's like, when it comes down to people you care about, is it truly going to be just about the money? Or are you going to care more about your money than the people? Because I'm sorry, but I can't brush somebody off simply because they didn't pay rent. Because as a landlord, I feel I have an obligation to try. Because I have houses that people need. And yes, if they don't pay bills at a certain point, if they don't pay the rent at a certain point, we do have to break ties. But we can try our best as landlords to do what we can to let people survive. Have I screwed up on business things where it's hard for me to pay bills? Yes. But you know what? I can sleep at night. You know, and I'm sure people that are laying up on a hill of money can say the same. But how can you deep down in your heart feel that you've done right if you evicted somebody because they were a month or two behind. Because we as landlords, as much as some of these people make, they can do more than what is they're asking. I mean, I'm sorry, but $1,200, $2,400, $4,000 for rent a month, and you're telling me you can't survive off that, so you have to evict someone? That's utter crap. Because, again, as a landlord, I feel we should do more because we have that power. We shouldn't take advantage of the situation we have just to make a buck. Because do you really need $13,000 a month to survive? No, you don't. But you're putting yourself there, so you have to survive off $13,000 a month. You don't have to do that. And of course, I'm going to be called out. I'm going to say, well, there's taxes, there's this, there's that. Yes, there is taxes. Yes, there is things that you have to do for repairs. And yes, you have to raise rent to a certain point to survive, to just get those basics. I get that. And literally most of the people around here that are in my trailer park understand that as well. But to say, again, to call somebody a filthy bastard or a filthy person for not paying rent shows a lack of understanding. And right now, when immigrants are called a certain thing and somebody who can't afford this, where the society set them up to work like that, that is about as bad to me as calling. That's really bad. Let's just say it's bad to call someone something like that when it's the one percenters that have put us in this. The one percenters who have actually created this issue that we're in. Blaming the immigrants, blaming the lower class, blaming this when they can't afford, when they aren't willing to afford to pay people a living wage so they can survive. And there's some economies that they're not set up for someone for the basic jobs. Like Athens doesn't have a huge opportunities for people to build a life. It's not, you've got to be pretty much in here. So again, to call somebody a filthy bastard or a filthy person for not paying rent seems really a misunderstanding of people and what they are. Because again, and I'm going to say it, and I will repeat this over and over and over, that being a landlord is a different type of business than owning a store. And if you're going to look at it like that, and these people that are renting from you, the people that you need to survive, then you need to get out. And I'm going to say that for everybody. There's no need to raise your rent $1,200, $2,400, $4,000, $5,000. I heard one person paying $5,200 a month. But if they know they can get the money, they're going to raise it. And it's going to hurt people. It's going to push people out of homes. So call them filthy all you want. But it shows that you could give a rat's ass about people and how they survive. I wonder what your views on the world would be if somebody in the United States can't pay rent and you're calling them filthy. When it comes to war and people trying to survive around the world, I can't even imagine what you would say about them. So it's not simply they're filthy people. It is simply that people are trying to survive that you don't understand. Just because you can do it doesn't mean they can. You're not putting yourself in their shoes. And you can say all day long, I'm going to pull myself up. But somebody's already taken the bootstraps from a lot of these people. So they're not filthy people. They're people that are trying to survive. And I, as a landlord, as long as I can, do what I can. Me and my wife, we will try to do what we can to make this world a better place. And it might only be a few homes, but it's a few homes that people are living in, that it's their homes while they're here. Because I can't do it without them and they can't do it without me. It's a symbiotic relationship. So, yeah. Like and subscribe. And in one of my videos coming up, I'll be talking about what I would change as a landlord, because there are some things I would change and do different. So please stay tuned. For those who did watch, thank you. For those who think that somebody's getting evicted is they're just filthy people and they should just be go get a life.